I hate hunting wild boars. You didn't hear that wrong, I really hate it. But it has been my father's job for many years. My dad has hunted wild boars for as long as I can remember. I've never truly agreed with what he does. But my father explained something to me: hunting isn't about entertainment. It's the only way to control the population of wild boars that destroy farmers' crops year after year. So today, I decided to go with him. Not because I like it, but because I want to understand what he has been doing all these years. After traveling for a while, my father's team and I quickly arrived at their familiar hunting spot. We climbed up a low hill just as the sun was beginning to rise. Then my father stopped. He stared straight toward the slope on the other side. A group of wild boars was moving slowly across the hillside. At the highest point was the lead boar. It was walking slightly behind the rest of the herd. My father knelt down. He held the rifle firmly and followed the animal through his scope. The boars continued moving calmly, completely unaware that someone was aiming at them from far away. Then a sharp crack echoed through the air. The lead boar collapsed instantly. The rest of the herd panicked and scattered in every direction. I lowered my binoculars. And inside me, there was only one feeling: discomfort. After that gunshot, one large boar broke away from the herd. It ran straight down the slope toward us. The sound of its hooves pounding against the ground was heavy, like a hammer striking the earth. One of my father's teammates quickly stood up. He raised his rifle and aimed at the target. Everything happened smoothly. The wild boar had no way to escape. I looked at the animal lying motionless on the ground. Just a few seconds earlier, it had been running with incredible strength. Now, everything was over in only a few seconds. I turned to look at my father. But he was already looking in another direction. As if what had just happened was completely normal. A moment later, from the foot of the opposite hill, another wild boar suddenly appeared. It had probably just been driven out of the forest above by the hunting dogs. Now it seemed to have relaxed its guard after managing to lose them. I could clearly hear the sound of its hooves striking the gravel as it moved closer and closer. The distance between it and us was shrinking every second. My father, guided by the reflexes of a seasoned hunter, reacted almost instantly. Within a brief moment, the situation was over. The boar stumbled while it was still running. By pure instinct, it tried to push forward a few more steps. But then it collapsed right where it stood. I looked at the animal lying motionless on the ground. Just a few seconds earlier, it had been running with all its strength to escape. I didn't say anything. But inside, one feeling was painfully clear: I wished that animal had managed to run just a little bit farther. The sound of the hunting dogs suddenly echoed from deep inside the forest. A massive wild boar burst out of the bushes. Behind it, 3 hunting dogs were chasing close on its heels. The animal suddenly turned around, baring its tusks. It tried to fight back. The dogs barked fiercely as they circled around it. My father stepped forward. The distance between them was very close. I could clearly see the wild boar's eyes. They were filled with panic and desperation. There was no other outcome. The animal collapsed right in front of us. The dogs immediately fell silent. And I could feel my throat go dry. Not long after that, the dogs found another one. The wild boar ran straight through the forest. The dogs drove it toward the place where we were standing. When it burst out of the bushes, I could clearly see its long, curved tusks. My father barely had time to aim. He acted quickly, but with incredible precision. The animal collapsed in the middle of the path. And in my mind, there was only one thought: it had fought with everything it had just to survive. After every ambush point had its result, we returned to a narrow trail in the forest, a path the wild boars were almost certain to pass through. John, one of my father's hunting partners, had already scattered food on the ground and was waiting there. We didn't have to wait long. Soon, a group of wild boars began to appear, drawn by the pile of food. They stepped out cautiously. But the smell of the food slowly lowered their guard. One by one, they bent down to eat. My father whispered quietly, "Wait until they line up." Hearing those words made me uneasy. And just as I had feared, both boars collapsed at the same moment. I couldn't keep watching. I turned my face away. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills, the forest returned to silence. The hunt was over. Around me, everyone began packing their gear as if it had been just another ordinary day of work. But I couldn't forget the moments when each animal fell. I know my father believes this is necessary. Yet as we left the forest that day, I still couldn't make myself feel at peace with what I had witnessed.